Today, I've come to meet Ani Dechi Palmo, a Buddhist nun who has spent much of the last few years in silent retreat at Samye Ling Tibetan Monastery in Dumfriesshire, Scotland. I know her favourite things are cheese and good tea. I can supply the tea, but my first stop is to the Loch Arthur Creamery to pick up the very best local cheese. Hello. Hi, Barry. I'm obsessed with tea, obviously, right. And I love cheese, and I understood that milky, soft, creamy flavours go incredibly well with tea. Right. So I thought, well, why on earth haven't we tried tea with cheese? Why just milk?
It's wine, or it's, yeah.
Well, then, you know, we obviously put milk in our tea, but we don't eat the two things separately together. Yes. And it's so obvious to everybody who drinks tea, when you stop for a moment to think about it, that creamy, sugary, lovely, rich dairy products go brilliantly. Which are the real award-winning cheeses?
The biggest award-winning cheese is Criffle.
Yeah.
That's this one here. It's incredibly distinctive. It's a very, very
It's Mark
special.
Hicks's favourite cheese.
Oh, yes, I know.
He loves it, doesn't he?
Cheese has been made in Scotland for centuries, but there aren't, like in certain regions you'll have, you know, your Lancashire and your Gloucester and Double Gloucester and so on. There's actually not a lot in Scotland. So when one comes as a sort of modern artisan cheesemaker, you don't have a lot of tradition to say, I'm going to make traditional Dumfries and Galloway cheese.
Anything.
So you actually have to create tradition. You have to say, I am making the tradition for 100 years hence.
Great.
That's our work.
Wonderful.
So that's what we feel we've done very much with Criffle.
And the Criffle is the local hill, isn't it?
Criffle's the local hill.
Largest hill in the area.
What we've done is we've created a cheese which ripens. It's what's called rind washed.
Yep.
So you get this very distinctive surface, quite aromatic on the surface.
Wow.
Yeah. You find if you go to any of the best hotels or restaurants, this
and
is a must on the cheese.
Sure. And not just in Scotland?
Mainly in Scotland. We used to send it all over the country, but actually have drawn back because of lack of stock. We don't only, we're limited in our size of production. We're a small artisan cheese maker.
And I'm a small artisan tea seller.
Yeah.
I've never met a Buddhist nun before. I've got 5 amazing cheeses for her, and 5 perfectly matched rare teas. I hope my offerings meet with her approval. This isn't actually a Darjeeling or an Assam.
Oh,
the Meghalaya. Meghalaya is a little area between Assam and Darjeeling, and it's an area called the Abode of Clouds, which is why I call it cloud tea. And it's got all the benefits of both the soft floral notes of the of the Darjeeling, soft floral notes of the Darjeeling, and then the rich fruity notes of the Assam. And it's a lovely, lovely farm out there, and they're quite a new farm. It's not very old, but they've in a few years managed to produce one of the finest teas I've ever tried. And they sent it to me.
It's one of your favourites?
This is one of my absolute favourites. I love the farm. I love the people who grow it. I love what they're doing. And what's really amazing is they're completely focused on quality. They don't care about anything else. They're willing to grow the business very small and very slowly, and only produce a tiny amount of tea until they've got it really, really perfect. They're never going to be a big, huge industrial farm. Look at the colour, almost pinky.
Yes, it's lovely. In Tibet, it would have been the prayers would have been done, and people would have made offerings to the person doing the prayers in order to prevent famine or disease or any injury or any of the things that you're more subject to in a place like Tibet. And the deeper meaning would be to protect the Buddhism, that it will grow and flourish and help people. So that's my job, really, is to recite the prayers that instigate that.
So all day long you're on your own praying, and it's solitary or?
Yes, in a solitary shrine, a solitary small shrine. My job to read the Tibetan prayers in Tibetan and do the ritual practice for that.
And will you be on your own for days at a time, or would you see people?
No, I usually spend a month to 3 months in solitary retreat, and then I'll have a break for a week and mix with the other monks and nuns.
Share a cup of tea?
Yes.
And does it Do you drink tea while you're on retreat?
Yes, every morning I start with rhubarb. It's good for you to have first thing.
Yes.
And then usually mid-morning I might have a keema, and in the afternoon I have a Darjeeling.
Yes.
I might have a rhubarb at night so that I can sleep. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, for me, when I drink tea in my retreat house in the middle of the afternoon, it's like an occasion, because finally I stopped sort of doing my meditation practice and reading all my long text. And it's lovely. I always sit on my meditation cushion still when I drink it, but I always lean back. Normally I sit very upright. I lean back and drink my tea, and it's like I'm still meditating, but it's like very much more relaxing and just enjoying the flavour. The idea is to just be that way and just to live your life without that expectation so much. Every moment is important. Every moment is producing something. So that's what we advocate here, really. That's what meditation is for, to live in the present moment. And tea is very good. Drink tea in the present moment. Just be with that experience of the taste and the flavour and the smell, and don't have lots of other things going on at once. After I've been in about a month especially, it's like I'm tasting it. I eat very little because I get satisfied much quicker because I'm only eating. I'm not doing or thinking anything else other than eating and talking and watching and looking at things. You're just eating or just drinking. That's all you're doing, and you're not thinking about anything. Then you get satisfied very quickly. You need very little of anything actually. When you had difficult times or happy times, when something's particularly intense, I've had a cup of tea, to celebrate if I'm enjoying myself, or when it's been very difficult for me in my life, I always have a cup of tea. Tea and sympathy is a big thing here in Samye Ling. We have tea and sympathy a lot going on here because it's quite hard lives we live here with working and it's all voluntary how the place is run. Nobody's paid anything. And if you're a nun or monk, obviously your life is quite solitary and lonely. So we get together for tea and sympathy a lot. It's a big thing. So
I'm sure people don't think of that actually. That it is a hard life. That it's not a.
A lot of people think it's an escape. It's an escapism thing, but facing your mind all the time is very hard without distraction. People forget that that's a very difficult thing to do. And then, as I say, all the work people that are working in the cafe now or the building work there, it's all being done free, voluntary help, and people are committed. Be very committed and have a lot of faith to do that. And it's all right at first, it's a novelty, but if you do that for any length of time, then it really tests your faith.
I spent 2 hours with Ani Dechi Palmo. I came here bearing gifts, but oddly, I feel like I'm the one who's been given something. Just speaking to Dechi has left me with some of her balance and focus. I don't know, perhaps I've just had too much tea.